high, but every day you don't do it, see what happens. See if it's hard. See if you struggle. See if you talk yourself into it. It's a very easy disease to diagnose because an addict can't not do it. That's it. Now, this is a craving score. Nick, 0 means you have no desire to use whatsoever. It means you probably just used. Some people they're stressed out, and they're in a bad mood. They're not yet aware they want to use, but they're funky. Then they begin thinking of using. The craving's starting to build here. Now, above 5, we know that they're probably going to head towards using. So if they're really getting these frantic thoughts, why don't the guy shut up so I can go smoke, that kind of thing. 10 means, doesn't matter. You could be sitting in your PO's waiting room, but you're going to do it. That's a 10. All right, so you score your craving. Now, where are you right now?
About a 6.
You're about a 6. Where are you right now? Tobacco-wise?
10.
About a 10? You know you're going to smoke. Where are you? You're a 10 too? Where are you?
About a 9.
Woo, what a bunch of addicts. Where are you?
Probably about an 8.5.
Okay. I had a guy the other day said, 1 million. All right, so then after so this is the next question. You said your craving score was up there. Why is it up there?
Because I'm addicted.
What are you feeling that says you need to smoke?
That little worm thing.
Oh, little worm is in there saying, gotcha. What are you going to do if you didn't smoke?
Go crazy.
Go crazy. Now, he's right. He's right. And let me make the point again. You can't just not use. Big mistake. A lot of people say, okay, I won't use. And they leave this big hole in the middle of their life. They hate it. And when they go back to using, which they will, they're going to say, okay, I tried that. I didn't want that. I'm never going to stop again because it sucked when I stopped. Don't just stop. You got to have something else to do right off. And unfortunately, the other thing won't work nearly as well. And it won't work as fast. You know what this means? It means that you're going to have to use courage. You're going to have to reach inside yourself and say, I want to use. I'm going to stop using, and I'm going to defeat the craving monster. I am not going to let him control me. I'm not going to be under the control of something I didn't even invite into my body. So you can't just leave a hole. You got to do something. And then what are you going to do the rest of the day? Because that's the only day you have to be sober. Now, after you've decided, okay, I'm not going to use, whether it's an hour, we flunked that one, or a day or a week or a month, however much we can talk her into not using. So she says, okay, I'm not an addict. I'll prove it to you. I won't smoke all weekend. Okay, good. See you Monday. Now, we've asked her during the weekend to score her craving, look to see if she's talking herself into it, see if she's having symptoms. So come Monday, did she do it? Could she do it? Could she not use? Could she? Now, if she didn't use, or if she did use, or even if she didn't, did the wheels start to spin? Did she start to talk herself into it? What's that guy know? What's that idiot going to do? No one's going to know if I smoke. I could do this. I don't care what he said. You know, all that kind of stuff. Was it a struggle? Well, if you're not an addict, why was it a struggle? Who's in charge? You or the craving monster? That's easy to answer. Now, going back to what Kelly said earlier, if you stop and there's no way to enjoy yourself, ooh, you're in trouble. So were you able to have pleasure if you weren't high? Do you depend on the drug to have a good time? That's the question. If so, you're in trouble. When you didn't smoke, did you get bored? Did you get anxious? Did you get depressed? Did you get funky and irritable? Why? If you're not an addict, why did that happen? I mean, those are signs. Now, here's a good news slide. Let's suppose you're beginning to think, God, she's blushing. Poor baby. So she's saying, uh-oh, I only was going to go 3 days without smoking, and I ended up smoking 2 packs this weekend. You know, she smells like tobacco farm. Okay, so what should you advise her? First thing she's got to do is got to get away from the drug. No one gets off drugs if they spend a lot of time around it. How hard would that be for you? If you really had to get sober, your life depends on it, how hard would it be for you to get the drug away from you?
It'd be hard.
Hard.
Really good fit.
What?
I don't think I would be able to.
You would think you'd be able to stop because so many people around you smoke? How about you? How hard would it be for you to get away from the drug?
Pretty hard.
How about you? Not so hard. Hard. How about you? You, good. How about you? Hard to get away from the drug? Sadie, easy or hard to get away from the drug?
Come on.
Kind of hard. And this is sad because the people around you are killing you. The people who love you are hurting you. The people who love you and want to be your friends, when they smoke around you, make you smoke. They're hurting you. And what you said is so cool. You thought you'd be able to do it because if you ask your family, they'd help. And that's a blessing. That's ahead of the game. And don't judge your parents. You don't know if they're going to help you until you ask them. I mean, it's worth asking them. You don't know. And I think this is so important. These two go together. Get away from the drugs so you don't smoke, but don't leave an empty place in the middle of your life. You'll hate it. So you got to find something else to do. Nick, suppose you were going to stop. Boom, you're going to stop. What would you do for fun?
Probably smoke weed.
You're going to stop. You're going to stop. You're going to stop drugs. What are you going to do for fun? You understand you can't do nothing. What would it be?
Probably go blow up something.
You go blow up something. Okay, good. Blowing shit up's great fun. I'm telling you. What would you do? You can't get fun from chemicals, but you can't not have fun. What would you do?
Work out.
You'd work out. That's one of the very best. What would you do?
Probably start getting athletic again. That was from last year.
That's a very good answer. It's a very good answer. What would you do?
And probably get into skimboarding or swimming or something like that.
Excellent answers. Great answers. What would you do?
I have no idea.
So you can't think of anything that would be fun if you weren't using. And here's the thing, Sadie, until there's an answer to your question, stopping won't work. I mean, I see people every day stop using drugs, and about a week later they go, I don't like this, I'm bored, nothing's fun, I can't sleep, I'm in a bad mood all the time. Hell with this. And they go back to using, and boy, they don't want to stop again, because they already did it, and they didn't like it. That's a big mistake. So until Sadie comes up with an answer, she's just an addict waiting for her next hit. That's what happens. Now, if you're using tobacco to relax or calm down, you can't ignore the need to relax and calm down, right? Because you'll be tense and anxious and irritable. So you need to find other ways of balancing your stress. Time out, going for a walk, listening to music, talking with your friends, the things that keep you busy, keep you interested. That's going to keep you sober. It's going to keep you alive. And if you do have mental health issues, you know, if you've been depressed, if you've been anxious, someone has molested you, if you do have ADD, you need to get help. And here's some good news. The help helps. We can now really help with those issues. Sometimes it's hard to find someone who will help you. But believe me, if you can find that help, it will really help. And it makes it 10 times easier to be sober. But don't do it on your own, because as we've discussed, if you stop, if you use because it keeps you from crying spells, keeps you from cutting, keeps you from not being able to sleep, don't just stop. Don't just stop, because all those things will get much, much worse. Usually in the same day you stop, they'll get worse. It doesn't take long for the symptoms to come rushing back, and they're much worse than they were before. So these things save lives. This is how people get off of drugs. This is literally how people get off of drugs. All right, let me summarize. Drugs are pleasure-producing chemicals. They produce pleasure because they work on the part of the brain that is put into your brain to get you interested, get you enjoyment, let you have a good time, get interested. drugs turn that on. If you overdo drugs, or if you use really strong drugs, you will damage your pleasure centers, and you will lose the ability to have a good time, be interested, and enjoy yourself. The sign that you're getting into trouble first is the amount that used to get you high doesn't get you high anymore, and you need more and more and more. And if you pay attention, as your use goes up, the way you feel when you're not high is getting worse and worse and worse. And that becomes itself a reason for you to continue to get high, because you don't like it when you stop. We know that most people don't get addicted who try drugs. And that the people who do get addicted, we can easily tell you who they're going to be. It's not a mystery. It's easy to identify the ones who are going to get in trouble. Just ask if their parents use. Their parents are addicts. That's the most common thing. We also can help people understand if they got the risk factor. Were they born curious and bored? Do they have anxiety and depression? What is it that is about them that makes drugs work too well for them? We can teach people to tell if they're getting into trouble. They're using when they shouldn't. They're using more than they should. It's causing them trouble. They keep on using. When they try not to use, their brain talks them into it. That's all obvious. We can teach people that. That's something that we can help people understand. We also know that we can help people get off drugs by giving them something else to do. And the something else has to either be fun or fix their anxiety or depression, has to make them feel decent when they're sober. We also know you can't do it by yourself. If people around you are using, you're going to have to deal with that or you won't be able to get off, and you will die because people around you are using. That's not okay. The most important thing I want you to hear is this. This isn't a hopeless situation anymore. We know more about treating this than we ever did before. There's not a single person that we can't make it easier for them. We ask you to figure out what it is about you that works too well when you use drugs. What is it that you need to fix? What is it that's broken? I mean, can you tell? You know what I'm thinking right now? I'm thinking you guys are so precious. You're somebody's daughter, someone's son, someone's family member, someone's friend. You're precious. Someone loves you. Someone cares about you. The drugs are hurting you. They're taking you over. You don't have to be victims of this stuff. You can fight the craving monster. You don't have to let something else get in your brain and control you. We can definitely get the monster out. And you're precious. Don't let it win. You don't have to let it win. Thank you.